And now, what to the topic everyone has been waiting on is the rifles. So, let's see what we have in
Team
store.
Rifle.
Exactly.
I'm very sure that they're all very afraid now that they get like nerfed to the ground now. All the rifle people like being very, 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 very upset. Don't you worry, nothing negative in this category.
And if you're Team Rifle, I'm with you guys. I'm completely Team Rifle. So, like Dennis is Team Shotgun, I think more.
I'm Team Hunt. I like everything. You'll find me sniping, and you'll find me with a shotgun. Although my passion obviously is with sniping. So let's first start with the sparks and changes for that one. First minor thing, we're gonna start low here, is one additional ammo type now available for the sparks, and that's for metal jacket ammunition, so increased wall penetration. We don't expect that to be a massive choice and a major upgrade for people. It's just there for specialization. If you want to use it, you can use it, and I think it helps, especially like metal structure, etc. To if you're a good shot with the sparks, to really punch the walls and kill behind that a little bit more effectively. Again, this is more of a side note. It's a small thing. But we did some other changes, and that is to the reload animation. So let me first maybe talk a little bit about why we did that and what it actually means. So some of you might have seen there has been a very successful series by, I think, GameSpot about a firearm expert reacts to weapons in game XYZ. And luckily for us, there's also been an episode featuring Hunt and Hunt's weapons. And one of the points that was raised inside that video was that the sparks actually, the way we portrayed it in the game, is using the mechanics like if it were like a black powder, like powder can, percussion cap type of weapon, rather than the cartridge version. And what that means in gameplay is that we always put the weapon to half cock between like shots so that you can open up the breach. We've been told it's actually not necessary. We don't need to do that. So what we've been doing is we've kind of like went into the animations and without changing any of the timing, so the weapon will play exactly the same as before, maybe even a slightly tad faster, but we're talking about a few frames maximum. You basically have a much smoother way of reloading the gun because the hammer doesn't have to move as much between shots. So let's just have a look at how it looks on live at the moment as the first video.
Yes.
And then we have a look at the changes to it.
And I love how everyone is surprised that we actually watched the video and made some conclusions. So yeah, as Dennis said, let's look at how it is currently in the game.
So as you can see, between shots, he kind of puts it into the full cock, and then he puts it back into half cock as he reloads, and then he puts it back in full cock afterwards, right? So like the hammer moves a lot during the sequence, and on some weapons, like a revolver, that is actually needed because the drum wouldn't spin if the weapon isn't in a half cock position. But here it was just a point that was unnecessary in hindsight. So what we did is we kind of smoothed that one out.
Yeah, so let's look at the new one.
And looking at the comments in the chat, one of the boons of like working on in-game development on weapons, you can say the word cock without any hard feelings whatsoever.
Wow, that will be clipped and sunbited everywhere, I think.
I did.
But meanwhile, we actually saw how it works.
All right, so basically what you see now is that the hammer can just remain in the cock position. So after the shot, it just pulls it back the full way again. And then during reload, it's not needed to move at all. So you can just eject around and put a new one in. So again, it doesn't change much in the timings, but it makes the whole thing less busy, less noisy. And I think that is a healthy change just from the visual side. And I think it's nice to be able to just react a little bit to the feedback we've gotten from someone as highly treasured as the expert from that video.
But that's not all, actually. So speaking of the video, what else do we have, Dennis?
So yeah, actually this is really more of a side note. This is not relevant for update 152, but it's a nice little note, and I think we want just to show that. So in the same video, there's also a comment about the aftermath and its mode of operation, and the aftermath's basically inspiration is the Huot rifle, which is like a kind of like a machine gun from World War I that was built on the Roth bolt action rifle, a Canadian rifle. And that has kind of inspired us to do a similar modification on the Mosin and Lebel rifle we have in the game to create the aftermath. Now, there is a difference between the Ross rifle and the Mosin and Lebel. The Ross rifle is a straight pull rifle, so you just pull back, which makes it obviously much easier to create an automatic mechanism because you just need to move forward and backward. Compared to the Mosin and Lebel, which basically means you need to kind of like rotate the bolts to open up, as you see from a typical motion in a bolt action rifle. Now, the call out in the video was like, this wouldn't work. That's why this obviously is a stretch. I've asked Alex from the weapon team to maybe just give us a bit of a close-up for how the mechanism looks like. And just to save Alex and the team's honor on this topic, it's actually pretty awesome because they've incorporated that into the design of the aftermath already. So they can kind of see, like, as the bolt is moving, it actually rotates moving around. And we actually think this is a very nice detail. Obviously, it's still a made-up and a fictional gun, but it's really awesome to see like what little details the art team has been already taking into account for this. So just as a little side note, I think this looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, and if you are like me, you could just listen to Dennis talking about guns for hours as a podcast. But it's quite amazing how detailed the actual gun is under the skin, basically. Because players don't actually ever see these details in the game.
Whether you love or whether you hate the aftermath, I think it's a very, very impressive detail. I like it a lot. So yeah, I really hope they do another video about this. with like custom ammo, so many weapons, I think there's so much potential. GameSpot, huh? Come on.
Yeah, and like they should mention that we actually made a change because of them, so that's kind of impressive. But let's dive back into some more serious topics. Such as changes to the Mosin and Lebel.
Yes, and also something that actually we've seen quite a bit of feedback on from you guys, and we wanted to take that on. So, staying with the topic of detailed weapon mechanics and behaviors, if you reload a bolt action rifle, you need to cycle the bolt, right? Like you need to move it back and up, and that ejects then the shell and loads up the next round from the magazine. Now, what happens in our game right now is that like after a shot, you basically have to cycle the bolt, and only then can you do the reload, which means you have to open up again. And now, rather than an empty shell, because you just already ejected that, you would eject a fresh round. And this is where Bullet Grubber, for example, comes in order to snatch it out of the air and put it back inside. Now, we've done one small change, and that is that if you are very quick with reloading, so you fire your shot and you press reload right away, as you open up the weapon, the empty shell flies out, and you put the new fresh round from your magazine, like from the extra pool, into the weapon. So you can now reload the weapon if you're fast without even losing that extra round. It's a very small detail, but I think you guys will appreciate it because we've seen this quite a bit talked about, like in Reddit.
I think that's actually quite a big change, to be honest. I mean, like you kind of don't. I mean, Bullet Grubber is still really nice, but now you can just instantly reload and keep like you won't actually lose a bullet. So as Dennis said, let's look at it how it actually looks in game now.
Yep. So here again, I fire my shot, and now opening up, I have to put a new round in, but I've kind of like lost a round because of it, right? See, like opening up, always I lose one more round. That's the current behavior what we have right now. Now, if you take a look at the next video.
Which takes a second because I closed my folder.
Fine.
So, give me one. Meanwhile, let's just not look at blank screen just like this, please. Okay.
Yeah, and also important to note, this is for both the Mosin family of rifles as well as for the Lebel family of rifles, because both work mechanically the same in a regard and benefit from this change in the same way.
Well, actually, I don't think I have a video of the change.
Okay, then in this case, if you don't have the video for it, that's perfectly fine. Just try that on a test server. There is an important thing that might help you with it. So as I said, you need to.
They say that the video had it at the end, actually.
Oh, okay, perfect then. Then just let's show the video one more time at the very end then. So that's the beginning. Again, this is how it is at the moment.
Thank you, chat. So you saved me.
So you can see, like, I fired a round, I reload, and I just top it up, because the opening process just ejected the shell,
there it
and
was.
no bullet is lost. Yeah, so thank you, chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us about our own videos. All right, so kind of it's a small change again, but I think if you have the time in combat to do this, you will actually save some bullets, and I think that's a nice little touch. There's nothing mechanically that should prevent you from doing that, so that's why we did it. In addition to that, there is
I can talk about our next part, which is our new weapon variant. And as soon as Dennis joins us, which I hope he will, then he can talk about this as well. But until then, please just talk to me. So our brand new weapon variant, which I think I kinda yesterday, if you are following me on Twitter, accidentally spoiled it with a screenshot, but then I censored it so you didn't actually see it, which is a variant to the Winfield Centennial sniper variant. So this is coming in this update, and I actually have a bunch of videos to show you for this, so why don't we just take a look at those. And my cat is literally eating my headset. Yeah, we figured a lot of people would like, oh, my other cat arrived, great. Would prefer a marksman variant, but the sniper variant just made more sense in this game to not give it so much advantages. And we already have a marksman Winfield variant in the game. So as you can see, it's like a typical sniper variant with a pretty far away view. And we have more videos with when you're using trait. Sorry, meanwhile I'm trying to call Dennis. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, Dennis is back. Amazing. Okay.
Just need to call me.
Well, I called you once, but it said like Dennis is currently not available on Teams. So yeah.
No. Did you make an appointment with my secretary?
Well, she sounded like she was angry. So meanwhile, I started showing the new Centennial variant.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And
jump right into that.
And we are right now showing the video with the traits. I will share my screen with you as well.
Obviously, I cannot compete with your cats, Benz. It's all fine.
True. Although they can't talk as nicely as you.
I think they're still much better co-hosts than me, so it's all right. Yeah, so what did you talk about so far with the Centennial?
That it's new. And it's a sniper variant, another marksman.
Yes. Did you already talk about why it is a sniper variant?
Well, not really, so you can tell us.
Okay, let me jump right in there then. So what we felt is that a Deadeye or a Marksman Centennial would be quite a powerful choice because of the high rapid fire. We actually thought, you know what, we only have one Sniper Scope Smith trait-based weapon already. Let's just add another one, and we use the Sniper Scope, a bit of a balancing factor as well for this weapon. So because the sweet spot for this is obviously not at a 200+ meter range, but like between like 50 to 150 meters, and a sniper scope can be at times a bit overpowered for that one from the zoom. So it's an intentional inconvenience we'd kind of put in there, so that actually the weapon doesn't become too much of a scout sniper close quarter type of marksman rifle, but actually still is having a bit of a downside. So again, tell us on the test server how it feels for you and what you want to make out of it.
And meanwhile, I'm showing other videos of it as well because we have quite a few.
Yes.
So this is the one where you get killed by it, basically. And I believe we have one more as well.
Yeah, I really like the look of that gun. It fits very, very nice.
It's quite a long zoom though, like with all snipers, I guess. But
Yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
really need
expect
to,
from Winfield variant.
at that distance, you really need to land your headshots. Like you might easily have like 3 or 4 body shots or like non-headshots that you can survive, because obviously it's a medium bullet, and as such it loses power quite drastically over distance.